Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Murray, president here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services. As we do often on a Tuesday morning, we'll have a webinar today. We'll be on a sales approach or a sales idea with a little bit of training. And our guest speaker is Dave Pimper. Dave Pimper is the president of Lazarus Coaching. And today he's going to talk about Social Security claim. He's going to try and hit on the kind of the top 5 things that are most beneficial for advisors and their clients to know about Social Security claiming that can help them make the right decision and get the maximum benefit out of their Social Security claiming. We'll also talk about ways to take that knowledge and get it out in front of people via seminar, via radio, or other opportunities that might be available to you. So it'll be a great webinar today. As I mentioned, our guest speaker is Dave Pimper. Dave is president of Lazarus Coaching. He's been in the business since the early 80s, I think 1982. 500 or so plus consumer seminars done, ranging from Social Security claiming to retirement, retiree mistakes, 401k or qualified money opportunities. And he's had a lot of success with seminars over the years. More recently, he has introduced Retirement Boss Radio. That's not to say that he hasn't had radio experience. It spans back about 20 plus years as well. So really a great asset to have for the team here. He's been doing Social Security claiming seminars and use that as part of his approach with his clients and helping grow his business about the last 10 or 11 years now, and has really become quite an expert on Social Security claiming to the point where a lot of our folks lean on him for that. So really great webinar today. Thank you all for joining us on this post-holiday weekend. I hope everybody had a great holiday and a safe holiday. If ever there's a opportunity for trouble, it's this 4th of July when you're handling explosives and celebrating at the same time. So hope everybody made it through and everybody you care about made it through without any trouble. So let's get started here this morning. I want to run through a few things that I think will be important to you. We've got mostly today, as I look at our list of attendees, we have mostly folks that have already been with us for years and taken advantage of some of our fast start stuff, but there's a few of you on here today that the new producer builders I think might be of interest too. So basically what we do in your first 180 days of being with the team here at IAMS is we put a little extra brew, if you will, into the mix as you're getting rolling with us. So what we want to do is encourage you in any way that we can to do those first pieces of business. So you can see that at different levels you can claim different benefits, including assistance with Social Security, including Social Security claiming seminars, including Retirement Boss Radio, that you can help to grow your business. So look at those before you see if there's anything that catches your eye. One thing that I will say about that is for a lot of folks, they have something that's already working. You can see there's a pretty decent amount of contribution that's made to our success from a monetary standpoint in these builders. If there's something that you like or something that you're already doing or something that you want to try, we're certainly open to that as well. So that'd be a conversation you'd have with your annuity sales director and say, hey, I'm at this level, not necessarily interested in Social Security seminars or video campaign or dinner workshops and things like that. I have this that I want to do. What can we work out? And we'll get something worked out that, what's beneficial to you is beneficial to us. A couple of programs that you need to be aware of, and most of you already are: marketing reimbursement and referred producer program. Our RPM, the referred producer money, is by far we have the biggest checks. Like you, most of our great relationships over the past 35 years or so have been built with referrals from folks that do business with us already. And we, over the past 12 years or so, we've rewarded those with what we call referred producer money. You can see the formula on there. Those checks get to be pretty good size. We do those out quarterly. Some will do, if they're big enough, we'll do them monthly. If they get to be over 4,000 or 5,000, it would go out on a monthly basis. We'll go ahead and send those out on a monthly basis. But most of them we do quarterly. We're coming to the end of a quarter now. It usually takes us about 15, 20 days to get those all collated and sent out. But those are some of the bigger checks that we send out here. So if you haven't referred a producer to us, you want to see how that feels. If you know somebody, have a partner or have a colleague that you think might be a good fit for our training, our services, or products, by all means, I hope you'll refer them our way. Marketing reimbursement is a simple program. You do business with us, we put money in your marketing reimbursement account. As you do business, we go ahead and send you, you send us receipts, and we'll send you out a reimbursement. We basically match your spend dollar for dollar on the marketing reimbursement. Great back office support. I can talk about it all day long. For those of you, most of you, as I mentioned, are already done business with us that are on today. So you already know that. Services are our calling card. It's part of our name, Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We put a lot of weight on making sure that you feel like you've got people here ready, willing, and able to take care of your issues and questions and problems and opportunities when you call. And we've got a two-ring guarantee. You're going to get somebody that's going to answer that phone and pick it up pretty quick and get your question answered for you. So we put a lot of weight on that. If you've done business with us, you know that. If you haven't, I'd encourage you to give it a shot. I think you'll see a notable difference in the way that your business gets handled, and it gets in the system and out of the system from what I call submission to commission. Firelight, most of you now are doing e-apps for obvious reasons. With the pandemic, it made that kind of an important thing. There's still some of you out there maybe that aren't. I would encourage you, sometimes the reason that guys and gals don't like to use the e-app system is you're going to all these different websites. If you're doing it the Athene, it's one website. If you're doing it Silac, you got to go to a different one. So what we did, luckily, about 2 years ago, was we put a single sign-on for all of our carriers on our website. So you can go in and sign up. It takes about 3 minutes on our website to go in, and now you can see all of our carriers, all of your carriers that you want to do business with at a single sign-on, and go in and look and do that e-app. And of course, the beautiful thing about e-apps is you always have the right forms and you always have a complete application. So it saves a lot of trouble. Now that you can do it all on one website and not have to troll around, and you can do one client with 2 or 3 companies with a simple cut and paste because you're on our website doing it. It's a real advantage. So take advantage of that. If you haven't, call your sales director up and say, hey, get me signed up on that. Creative team is basically your advertising team. So anything that you would think that, hey, I got to go talk to somebody about that to see how I get my website set up, or see how I do Facebook, or see how I get lead generation opportunities set up. All that could be done basically with our advertising team. So talk to your sales director and say, hey, I want to take advantage of that. Obviously, we're going to do as much as we can pro bono. We'll do everything else that we can at cost. We're going to let you use your marketing reimbursement, because what we want to do is help you grow your business. What's good for you is good for us, obviously. So it's a real advantage to work with an advertising team that does what you do every day with producers just like you every day, and that they want to do that for as little or no cost as they can. And they're going to do a bunch of it free. And there's a whole bunch of stuff out there already that's pre-built where they can just throw your logo on, throw your number on, and get it out for you. So if you haven't looked at that, call your sales director and have them walk you through it. Looks like I may have lost volume there for a second. Hopefully, I just got a couple messages, and hopefully I'm back on now. Every once in a while, for some reason, our audio goes out. Love to have you all join us and join us on our Top Producer Summit. And now we're going to talk about Social Security claiming. Appreciate your all's patience as we got through a little audio difficulty. Dave, are you with us this morning? I'm going to get Dave tapped in, and while we're doing that, I'm going to give you a little background. So we're going to talk about Social Security claiming, and I'm going to put you on hold, get Dave here with us just for a second. Oops. He might be having some technical difficulties as well, so we'll see if we can get that fixed. Hey, Natalie, is Dave with us this morning? Yeah, if you would. I had a little technical difficulties. He may be having the same, so if we can get signed in for our webinar this morning, that would be great. Thanks, Natalie. So as I mentioned, so Dave is an advisor with us, but he's been coaching with us for about the past 13, 14 years now. Seminar coaching, radio coaching has been the primary, some practice coaching over that time frame as well. But over the last 8 years now, we've been doing a decent amount of coaching around Social Security claiming, and the way that that's been beneficial from a seminar standpoint and from just a one-on-one standpoint is helping us understand as much as we can about a very, very important part of what most people consider their major retirement asset, which is their Social Security. So hitting the claiming right is so key, and there's though there is a great understanding about there's much to be learned about it at the consumer level, there's not a lot of resources out there for them. So advisors that have that resource they just really have a super leg up. There's a statistics out that we saw in a industry rag probably 8-10 months ago that over 70% of folks would change to an advisor that could help them better understand their Social Security claiming options. So if you don't have that, what that means is there's a decent chance that a client of yours would make a change away from you to someone that did have that expertise. So it's really nice to have that expertise. And what you'll learn from Dave here over the next probably 25 minutes or so is you're going to learn how really relatively easy it is to gain that expertise, and how there are really only 5 or 6 points that you really have to have a good understanding of to answer 80-85% of the questions. Dave is going to give you the resources to do that, and then he's going to make himself a resource to you as well for that particular understanding of those really key points. What I've found over the years, really over the past 5 or 6 years, is more people have taken Social Security claiming on as a major part of their business, is that they have the understanding is key, but to have Dave as that resource for those very for some of the more complicated options has really been nice for them. So if you're sitting with a client and you can answer 80-85% of the questions, and then something special comes up and you say, you know what, let me do some checking, and that checking is as easy as a phone call away instead of an email or having to do the research yourself, that really is an advantage. And that's what Dave brings to the table for us with Social Security claiming. So as Dave would tell you, the gap, what people struggle with on Social Security is very large. Most people don't have the opportunity with their advisor, because most advisors don't see that as something that they need to specialize in or something they need to have information in. So they'll often refer people directly to the Social Security Administration. If you've ever done that and then had to take the call back from your client with the realization that there's really very little information available from Social Security Administration, that's the challenge. So as at CNBC, Sarah O'Brien's publication basically said that the advice about Social Security is very, very minimal. And so to have that opportunity to be someone out there that is able to make that advice available, so important. Um, you know, Dave is going to offer a quiz on Social Security, and he's going to walk you through some things. And he talks about the 5 questions, the ones that are so crucial, and Dave goes through those one by one with you. And it's going to give you a really nice bed of information that you can go back to, even from today's event, and help you when you're talking to clients. And there'll be an offer of more information that is available to you if you want to work with Dave, or whether it's via uh, Social Security claiming training specifically, if you want training around radio, or if you want training around seminars. We're going to talk about that, in which Social Security is a centerpiece. Obviously, with Social Security seminars, which a really good opportunity. Of all the seminars that we have done, there's been none more successful than Social Security, and I'll talk about why that is in just a moment. But of all the things that we've offered over the years, Social Security seminars have been the most successful. And so Dave will offer that as a standalone, if you like, or he'll offer that training in conjunction with Social Security seminar training and mailing to help you get involved in that, or Retirement Boss Radio. In other words, he'll make that training available to you at no cost if you want to go that direction. And here's why Social Security seminars have been so successful. And this is an opinion gleaned from conversations with folks over the past 10 or 12 years that have done Social Security seminars with us. Number one, obviously, you can offer Social Security seminars without a meal. In fact, we kind of recommend that you don't have a meal, that you offer those in more of a learning-based venue. So, for instance, a local college, a library, community center. Those are the best places to do Social Security seminars, and the reason is because it is very professorial. You're a teacher-student type of atmosphere, and so that kind of brings us to the second reason that Social Security seminars are so successful, and that's because most folks that do seminars, there's a certain amount of showmanship that has to go with that. That's not really the case with Social Security seminars. You're really just giving information. You're holding questions. Most questions that might arise are very specific, and so need to be handled on a one-on-one basis, which lends itself to making that appointment with the client. So again, they're offering information in a very, let me get rid of that for us. You're offering information that is very learning based and easy for your clients to take in on a learning based basis, and easy for you to offer that way. So if a person says, hey, I've always been worried about doing seminars because I don't know that I have that type of sales approach, and I want to do something that's maybe a little bit easier, I think you'll find Social Security seminars is a great way to break into that business. I really believe that most people, have given the opportunity with the amount of experience and knowledge they have, could do a great job at any seminar level, but Social Security seminars tend to be a little bit easier. We tend to get really good response, and we can do Social Security seminar invitations either via Facebook, which was very successful for us before the pandemic, or we can do mailing, or some combination of both. And you get, it's quite easy to get that 10, 15, 20 people a night over 2 nights, and put you in front of 25 to 40 people over 2 nights, which is probably going to garner you between 8 and 12 appointments. And you and I both know that if you can get in front of that many people talking about a retirement asset, there's going to be opportunity for business, and certainly opportunity to help consumers and clients to have a more beneficial and a better retirement. So great way to get into the business. And hopefully as we progress here on today's webinar. Morning, Dave, how are you? Yeah, I think Dave is having, I see he's joined, but it looks like he's having a technical difficulty. Appreciate your all's patience with us. I don't know if you're on with us, Dave, if you're muted, if you can unmute. It looks like you're aboard. Dave, can you hear me? I might have to dial Dave and see if we can get access to the audio via the phone. Hold on just a moment. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our audio this morning, but I just spoke with Dave, and he's on the event. Hopefully, he'll be able to get his audio here working for us here fairly quickly. So, as published by Christy Bieber, recently there were Americans between the ages of 60 and 70 were asked these 5 crucial questions about Social Security, and only 1 in 300 could answer them all correctly, which, as you look at the questions, I'm amazed even that 1 in 300 could do it. Obviously, there are people that are already probably in benefit and have had to do a lot of research and probably had the help of an advisor to get through that, because as you all know, if you're calling the Social Security Administration, there's not a lot of information that you're going to get from them. So the fact that that even 1 in 300 had these answers, because what you're going to find as Dave goes through them with you is that even for advisors, there's going to be a slim group that has the answers. And these are kind of the 5 basics of what folks need to know about Social Security claiming. So,
hey Steve, how are you doing?
Hey, good. I apologize for
I apologize. You know what? I'm just not a very good tech guy, but I did figure it out finally. So I apologize for everyone on the line with us today, and hope you had a good force. I'll let you kind of finish up, and then I will jump right in.
Good. Well, and you can see I've kind of led up to the 5, kind of your quiz, the 5 questions.
Yep.
We were talking about the fact that, only 1 in 300 consumers, and probably all those consumers probably had the help of an advisor to get that understanding, because they're not getting it from the Social Security Administration. In order to understand it, you got to figure it out on your own, or you got to have the help of an advisor. And it really makes for an excellent opportunity for advisors if they can be that person. So done a pretty good introduction of you, Dave. I'll let you kind of take control here. I'm going to give you control of the screen here in just a moment, and you can kind of run people through the quiz.
Okay. You bet. And Steve, we will be done. This is only going to be about a 25-minute from here out, so this is not going to be a long webinar, but kind of action-packed and information-filled, give you some ideas of maybe how Social Security could help your business. So at about 5 till the top of the hour, we will be done and kind of take questions from there. So my name is Dave Pimper. I'm a producer, just like everyone on the call with us today. Basically, I would guess, unless you're administration, and I'm just got done with actually a nice fixed index sale. That's what took me a little bit of time getting back on the webinar today. I think Social Security is extremely important if you're working with the pre-retired or just retired crowd. So let's take this test, and this was from SimplyWise, which is an online website. And here are the 5 questions. And take this test with me. Everybody take this test with me. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim the benefit? So let's take this test, okay? The first question is, to maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Okay, write the answer. If you put down full retirement age, you're wrong. The correct age is 70. That's where you maximize Social Security. Question 1 down to question 2. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? You know what age that is? Yep, age 60. Age 60 is the earliest. You take a 70, you take a 28.5% discount, but you can take your benefit, okay? Question 3, does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse also need to receive benefits for you to qualify for a spousal benefit? It's a yes or no question. Yes. If you guess, that may not count, but if you knew it, then good for you. You do have to take the benefit to take a spousal benefit. 4, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes or no? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes, they can, but there's 4 stipulations that need to be passed, and you have to guess 2 of them and get this question right. Those 4 stipulations are met. What are they? Any idea? Well, here we go. First of all, the marriage had to last at least 10 years. You're currently unmarried. Not your ex, but you are currently unmarried taking the benefit. Your ex is at least 62. Divorce happened 2 years ago or later. If you got 2 of those 4, I'm going to give you credit, but you need all 4 of those to be able to do it. Last question. Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Here we go. Answer coming up. Yep. If the stipulations are met. Yep, and if you got, I'm going to give you that, the 2 of the 4 because we just went over those. Yeah. So if you got all 5 or even 4 of those correct, you're sharp. I mean, you've got her down pat. If you didn't guess, but you actually answered the answers and knew the answers, that's great. You got 1 or 2, yeah, you know what, or 3, yeah, you know what, you probably need some type of Social Security claiming background. This is from Jana Heron from USA Today. It's an excerpt from a couple years ago. It says doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Get a load of this next bullet point. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000. Why? In income per household over their lifetime because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Bullet point 4. Now this is just again a wild statistic, but only 4% of all retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. Only 4%. That means 96% did not. Pretty amazing. If you look at Social Security, it was started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt by the Social Security Act. First check in 1940. The only age you could take it when it started was 65. Couldn't take it later or earlier. And the average age of longevity in 35 was only 62 years of age. And the first check came at 65. Pretty darn good deal for the government. That, of course, has changed immensely. In 61, they lowered the retirement age. You could take it at a discount, but take it early. And what happened is that just a few years later, they started saying you could take it later at a bigger amount. Okay, it didn't start out that way. Cost of living adjustments or COLAs, kind of inflation each year started in 75. It's a lot of years ago, 46 years ago. No taxation up to 83, and then a little heavier taxation if you're in a higher bracket in 93. Not everybody pays taxes if you don't make as much money and you're under the bracket limits, which we'll talk about in a few slides. There is no taxation paid on Social Security. Last big reform was in 2015, the Bipartisan Budget Act, and in 16, file and suspend got phased out in 6 months, and restricted still around, but you got to be about 67 and a half years old, so born before January 2nd, 1954 or earlier to be able to use it. How important is Social Security? Darn important. Almost 60% of all retirees count the Social Security as the major source of income. Social Security 101, pretty simple, really. There's 3 ages or dates that are important. If you go in and you take early, it's reduced. If you take later the full retirement age, it's increased. That's pretty much how it works. Can it have a huge value? Yes, you can, but only if you take it at your right time. That's very, very important. Okay? Trust funds got about $2.8 trillion in it. And you probably in last year would be the first year that's been taken for in many, many years since 1983. Now, trust fund probably is going to run out of money, and that's a big concern for a lot of people. That there's going to be a downfall of a bankruptcy of Social Security. Well, it's a pay-as-you-go system, so it's never going to be bankrupt. But you could lose up to anywhere up to 25% of your monthly monthly income. But they'll either increase like full retirement age of the age of 70, or they'll go in and do some kind of taxation. Great. Well, hold on here real quick. I don't know why this was, but somehow I got knocked out. So I'm going to go back on this webinar. I'm sorry about that. I got somehow some tech problems. So if you could hear me, if you could just make sure and just maybe type in that you can hear me. I apologize. Something is just messing up with technology today. Okay, so Social Security, yeah, there's no doubt that it's a pay-as-you-go system. Does the USA borrow against against the bonds that are within the special interest bonds? Yes, they do. They borrow the majority of them, and they leave IOUs in its place, but that's the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, same as our currency. It's not a Ponzi scheme. They've never missed a payment that they know that they owed. So it's a very, very good system. It keeps a lot of people out of poverty row. You need 40 quarters of coverage, so it's $1,470 you need to earn to get 1 quarter of credit. You can earn up to 4 of those, so $5,880. That does go up each year if there is a cost of living adjustment. So it's basically you earn 4 quarters. The more you make, the more your benefit is. And what happens is you need 10 years of working at 4 quarters a year. It takes your 35 highest inflation adjusted years. And remember, cost of living is huge. So if you 35, 40 years ago, you might only made 20 grand, you may have maxed out your Social Security. If you're born in 1943 to 1954, the full retirement age is 66. It goes up 2 months each year up to the age of 60. 1960 or later, full retirement age.
Dave, check your audio for me if you would. Dave, you have lost audio if you can correct that. Well, I don't know. I think Dave, I'm sure that you all watched those slides, and I'm not sure if you were able to get the audio, if some of you were and some of you won't. Hopefully I'm not talking over Dave right now. Dave, if you can hear me, I just want to let you know that I haven't been able to hear you for about the last 10 slides or so. But what I did do is I put up the poll, and on the poll you can see it asks you if you have any interest in learning a little bit more about Social Security claiming. Hopefully just watching the slides you're able to see some of the level of expertise that Dave has and some of the ways he can help you. If you are interested in talking with Dave, spending a few minutes on the phone with him, which I highly would recommend, if getting Social Security claiming expertise is important to you, and hopefully as you heard some of those slides and saw some of the others go through, you can see how important that could be and how really fairly straightforward it can be to learn the basics of what you need to know to be effectively valuable to your client around Social Security claiming and helping them understand the best way, the win and the time frame for their own best opportunity to claim. You can see that expertise is available here at Dave's hands. Also, which you may not have been able to ascertain, is that there's a lot of opportunity to present that via Retirement Boss Radio and seminars so that your clients can see that you have that expertise, so that people that don't know you currently can see that you have that expertise and can grow your business that way. There were a couple of questions that popped up besides the few of you that mentioned that you were having trouble with the audio. So one question had to do with Retirement Boss Radio, which is great. The price varies depending on your area, because most of the price is the cost of the radio time. The rest of it is really relatively small. You're probably looking at spending a couple $300 to get the equipment that you need and the software that you need initially, probably a little bit less than that actually. And then there's some ongoing costs that for the phone answering and the administration, kind of the production of it, because it does come off as a pretty solid production sounding, but you need to have a professional group doing that, and we have that all lined up. We have the phone answering opportunity lined up for you as well. So it varies. About 800 of that cost, or maybe 1,000, is month by month a part of the program, and then the rest of the cost is actually in the radio advertising time. That could vary widely. We've got people doing it in Los Angeles and it's more like 6,000 a month, and then people doing it in less populated areas. You need to have 100,000 or so more population in a given demographic in order to make it work, but that's not hard to find. And then the cost goes down substantially if you're at the lower end of that, maybe as little as maybe a couple grand, and that's to be on the radio for an hour each week, usually on a Saturday or a Sunday. So you can look at you're probably going to spend somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 is pretty much the sweet spot. So about the cost of a seminar to be on radio 4 times a month. You're probably looking at 2 to 3 to 4 right now, maybe a little bit higher than that, appointments that you'll make. These are not people, these are actual appointments with people that want to talk with you, whether it's in person or face to face. So something to consider. So that's the basics of radio. Seminars, I don't have that question. Seminar. Yeah. Hey, there you are. You're back.
Yeah. I've been listening. I was learning from you. That was good. Hey, I apologize. I don't know what the deal. Somehow, I think now my headphones, the battery went out, but I'm on the speaker. But I want to say, don't forget also that the 2 neat things about this is that it is pre-recorded, and that's a cool thing. So you can record everyone. Yes. And the second thing, Steve, just to add to you, is that you have a call center that's live, an inbound call center. So when they call in from the toll-free number that ends in 2677, which is BOSS for Retirement Boss Radio, that goes into the live call center. So those are appointments being made for you on your calendar, the electronic calendar that both of you have. So it sounds complicated, but we make it pretty simple. It's a turnkey system. And if you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, www.retirementbossradio.com, you'll be able to hear some of my actual the live recordings, and I think that you'll see how seamless they really are.
Yeah, I know that a lot of times people say, well, that's Dave, what am I going to sound like? But, that the production team does such a great job. Everybody sounds great. There's obviously you get a little bit better as you go along, but it's, with your show notes that you provide and, the scripting that comes a little bit from the production and the way that Steve's it all works with every kind of like that Ed McMahon sort of thing to make sure that everything keeps flowing smoothly. It really, the production sounds very good. You're going to sound good on the radio is, I guess, what I want everybody to be confident about. We have had a couple other questions come up about radio, which is great. I know that, there's always, different people always looking for ways to get in front of clientele. Right now, I must say that when you could kind of put everything up against everything else that's out there, radio is a great way to build your reputation in your area and to get appointments at the same time.
Absolutely. I mean, to tell you what, marketing right now, a lot of advisors are not marketing. We were fortunate. We marketed right through the pandemic when a lot of other people weren't, and our business stayed up. It was strong. But right now, as you know, Steve, we're really getting. I got another one up in the central north that we're looking at on a pretty good sized city for retirement bus radio, and we're starting. We have some folks right now that are doing Social Security seminars face to face, including myself. So things are really starting to kind of come out of the pandemic era.
Yep. Yep. It's good to have that behind us for a lot of reasons, but certainly in our business, in order to have that relationship, that one-on-one contact, whether it's via seminar, via appointment, or how it is, so that people can get comfortable with the quality of the person that they're working with is just key. And so obviously, we were fortunate here, and hopefully you out there were too, to not see much of a downturn in your business through the pandemic because people still need help. But we have certainly seen an upturn since more people are able to get to where they can, have a one-on-one meeting. It's just indispensable. People feeling that connection with the person that they're going to do business with. So I don't have any more questions out here, Dave. There's, I think, a couple. Obviously, we're having some technical difficulties because now we've got people having trouble clicking on the poll and getting it to accept it. So.
No, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, it really does. Maybe our
well,
webinar.
Let's make sure that Dave just calls each and every person, because I think the majority of people probably will want to talk. So he will make sure and call everybody right when we're done here today.
Yeah, I don't know how else to handle it at this point. I apologize to everyone. I'm guessing that our webinar system is still on holiday. All I can think, we probably asked too much of it after the long holiday weekend to get up and running at 10 a.m. But I appreciate everybody's patience. Hopefully you gathered enough information here today to really get a good feel for the opportunity around Social Security claiming. If you haven't, what I might do too is I might send out, Dave, to this group one of our last webinars that we did on this, so that they have all the audio that they need to maybe make the right decision around this. So that's probably what I'll end up doing as well. So we'll call everybody. We will send out a copy of a previous webinar that goes over this information and give you the opportunity to listen to it at your own, listen to it fully on your own time frame. I think you'll find some good beneficial information in there. Dave, is there anything that you want to add as we kind of close up today's webinar?
No, I think the two things we hit on today is one is how Social Security, even though you don't make money per se from Social Security claiming, but opening up on their portfolios of what they have, because you have to find out the kind of income that can be derived, and you have to find out the kind of assets. And there's a way to transition that, which we should help people with. The second thing is, if you're not marketing right now, I'm telling you, it's a great time to market. You kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit. So we'd love to give you some ideas and maybe ways that you can go in and increase that production with Social Security, but maybe without it also, just to get in front of more people. I think that's important also. You
betcha. I'm guessing that this weekend might have been a little rough for you in terms of appointments for your production for the weekend. Did you get any appointments this weekend?
Well, interesting. Just to let you know, I had 2 set appointments. Both of them look like good appointments, and we set them. I mean, they're set in, and we verified it this morning. But Bill from out on the West Coast, I mean, and we have other people, but him in particular, he got 4 appointments, and I was very, very happy with that. So we would have thought it would be. I mean, it wouldn't have been surprised if I got none or one, but both of us at least had 2 or more. So You know what? Normally, it's never really good to have a holiday. You know, when the holidays fall on the weekend like that. But for us, we turned out pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad. And obviously, we're seeing seminars now. We've got 2 or 3 folks that are actually doing those face-to-face seminars, and the response rates have been just back to maybe a little bit better than what we saw pre-pandemic. Because I do believe there's pent-up demand. There's people out there that are making decisions now that they put off for the past year, obviously. So
I agree. I agree.
So take advantage of either. If you just want to get a little bit of Social Security training with Dave, that can be arranged as well. Simply, like I said, we'll call everybody. If you want to have a conversation with Dave, we'd love to arrange that. But there's opportunity, whether you want seminar training, radio training, or just Social Security training to grow your business. And what you're going to find is a year from now, you'll look back and say, because this is what happened, Dave, for you, right? You look back and you said, you know what, the Social Security thing, it's been a while, 10, 12 years ago for you now, but you said the Social Security thing is, one of the best things I've ever done. And we hear that over and over again.
Yeah, you know what, Steve? As I always say, the first best thing was I married Amy. The second thing is I learned Social Security claiming.
Well, what about meeting IAMS?
Yeah, and don't ever get those two mixed up. That's exactly right.
Well, I want to thank you all after a long holiday weekend and muscling your way through some technical difficulties that we had on our end. Yeoman's work on your behalf, and thank you for joining us today. Watch your email. I'm going to send you all the YouTube link to our last Social Security claiming seminar so you can get a little bit better feel for some of the things you may have missed with the audio piping in and out on us like that. And thank you for joining us. We're biased towards people that come to us and want assistance in growing their business and helping their clients. Social Security is obviously one way that is real indicative of that. So we're biased towards you. Whatever we can do to help you, we're gonna go the extra mile. So give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. If you want to hear Dave do the podcast, or podcast of Dave's radio, go to www.retirementbossradio.com and scroll down to the bottom. He's got probably 15, 14 podcasts on there that you can listen to any one of them. And like I said, don't be intimidated by that at all, because that's exactly or very similar to what you're going to sound like when you do it. The production is first rate. That's what you pay for. We want to make sure it was the best, and you've got some of the best production out there, and you'll have great show notes too. So it could be something that could change your life and change the direction of your business, and we'd love to be part of that. Give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. Wait for a call today from David, and he'll follow up with you. If you need to set up a time with Dave, we'll get that arranged as well. Have a great afternoon. Welcome back to the work week, and thank you all for your business and your time today.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.